Okay, so today we are still working on I can divide fractions with a model. So we're going to call this I can divide fractions with a model part 2. Okay, so the first things I'd like you to do is to look at this problem. Looks really familiar, right? So 2/3 divided by 4, and I want you to flip back a couple pages from our lesson a week ago and tell me, what do you notice? Okay, look at that, and then go ahead and tell me, what do you notice? All right, so you might have taken a look at that, and you might have noticed that we now have the fraction in the front, and it's being divided by the whole number. So now this is our fraction. So let's just revisit our parts here. This is going to be our fraction, and our fraction consists of a numerator and a denominator. Okay, and now our fraction is actually the dividend. This is the number that is being divided. So it is what is being divided. That is a B. Okay, and now we have our whole number behind the division sign, and so our whole number is now our divisor. So what we want to do is we want to get 4 groups out of 2/3. So this is our group size that we're looking to create. Okay? So how much in a group? So our first step, just like last time, is we need to model the dividend. Okay? So I'm looking at my dividend, and it says 2/3. So basically that's 2 out of 3. So based on the denominator, I need 3 parts. So I'm just going to draw 2 lines here, just so I can identify my parts. Okay, so I have 3 parts, and I'm just going to need 2 of them. So you know what, I'm just going to scribble. You can do however you want, but I'm just going to scribble and shade in 2 of the 3 because that's what I'm going to be working with. Okay, so my dividend, just so we make a note of it, is 2/3. Okay, that fraction. All right, so step 2, scoop this up a little bit, and now I need to make these 2 groups. This is what I'm working with, okay? So I'm just going to ignore this for a minute, and I need to make that into groups of 4 because my divisor tells me how many, and my divisor is 4, so I need to make these 2 shaded groups that I'm working with into groups of 4. So how do you think I should do that? Okay, so if you guessed or said that I should just put a line in between these 2 spots, you were correct. Okay, so that's just how I make these 2 parts that I'm working with groups of 4. So see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And even though I'm not looking at this section right now, I started with it. I want it just to be the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it look the same. Okay, so I'm still working with my shaded areas, but for this side I need to always keep it equal. So I'm just going to write that to remind myself. So we want that in our notes. Keep it equal for the empty section. Okay, keep it equal for the empty section too. We want all the parts to look alike, even though I'm just working with my shaded portion. All right, so now I need to circle the groups you need, and the divisor tells you how many. My divisor was 4. Okay, so I'm just gonna put 4 there, and I needed 4 groups out of my 2 out of 3. So this is my 2/3, and here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4. Okay, so I just needed 4. Alright, so now our last step is to basically just look at one of our groups, that's the ones we circled, and name it. And I just want you to know that it's okay to make a smaller fraction than we started with. So we started with 2/3, and sometimes our answers are smaller than what we start with. So what do you suppose if we name this one part or one group, the answer is? Go ahead. Okay, so if you guessed or you answered, I don't want to say guess, 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that was your correct answer. So, sorry. So what I do is I'm just working with my shaded parts, but at the end I need to count with what I started with. So 2/3 divided by 4, because I started with 2 out of the 3. I started with 2 out of the 3, and then I divided it into 4 parts, and now that equals 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So 2/3 divided by 4 equals 1/6. And that's how you model dividing a fraction with a whole number. See you in class.